on August 27th, 2020 at 9:08 a.m. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Director Aquino,
Here.
Director Carr,
Here.
Director Daniels,
Here.
Director Frost,
Here.
Director Guerra,
Here.
Director Hansen,
Here.
Director Harris,
Here.
Director Kennedy,
Here.
Director Lamson, Director Lee, Director Natoli.
Here.
Director Natoli is here in the chambers. Director Peters, Director Cerna, Director Terry.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks, everyone. Glad everyone's here today. If the board clerk could please read the announcement for those watching online or through other means.
Yes. In compliance with directives of the State and Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the physical location of this meeting is closed to the public, consistent with state guidelines on social distancing and California Executive Order N2920. Members of the public are encouraged to participate in the meeting by observing the meeting in real time at www.sacmetrocable.tv, Zoom video conference, and by submitting written comments electronically by email at boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments submitted in person will be delivered to the Board of Directors by staff. Public comment regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson and accepted until the adjournment of the meeting, distributed to the Board of Directors and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T U-verse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be webcast at sacmetrocable.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated on Saturday, August 29th, 2020 at 2 p.m. and Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And whoever took the photo on my background, it was a great air quality day. But to talk about our current air quality is our Air Pollution Control Officer with his report.
Thank you. Good morning, Board. Good to see you all. We'll talk about air quality, but first I want to present budget information, some of the metrics and tracking. So, clerk is just starting the slide presentation. And as you can see, we only have a brief 3 slides. So, again, thank you. As we committed, we want to give you an update on a monthly basis what we need in terms of what we call the 7 metrics that we have identified and shared with you previously that we're using to track the impact of the economic recession due to COVID-19. As you can see here, we put them into a table format just to make it easier to track and hopefully get you accustomed to them. We got these operational metrics that are tracking our permitting program, which is, as you know, one of the major elements, funding elements for the Air District. We have our building renovation and demolition projects related to dealing with asbestos, and also the construction and entitlement projects. And what we're giving you here is the change relative to the prior month and the change relative to the previous year. And as you can see, we have noted a significant downturn in terms of new permit applications. And this is an indication of business activity out there. Anybody that is having to do any business related to having to need an air permit And we have seen a significant downturn in that area. And you can see the arrows, the way they're pointing. Red is not good. Green is good. Interestingly, in terms of new development, the projects for construction and entitlements that are coming through, so this is related to our activities in the land use area, we are still seeing an uptick in terms of the number of projects. If you go down the table, we've also identified what we call revenue metrics, and these are really the funding sources that come into the district and provide the operational budget that we need as an agency. Obviously, the existing Measure A is an important funding source. DMV registration, the fraction of the registration that we get for our programs, and then the last one is just the interest in the LAIF, which is where we keep our reserve. And you can see the trend on a month-to-month basis. Things do change, but I think overall, relative to last year, we do see not a significant downturn, but a downturn nonetheless. So the idea is we're going to be tracking these. We're going to be bringing them back to you on a monthly basis, just so that you know how things are going. And we're still planning in October, before we sign off for the year, to bring you a more complete assessment in terms of what we have seen thus far as impacting our budget. So next slide, please. So now we are going to switch gears, and obviously the wildfire impacts are significant in the area. So we just wanted to point out to you a couple of things. Thank you for helping us get the advisories out. I do want to encourage you to continue to do that as we send that information to you, share with your constituents. You've got the resources here, the websites to go to, but the one I want to point out to you specifically is a brand new resource that we didn't have last year. And thanks to USCPA and the U.S. Forest Service, we have this fire.airnow.gov, which is really pulling together, as you see in the map, pretty much any monitor out there, and it's landing on the page and is getting updated on the hour. So for those of you that are interested in, the monitor matching what you see out the window, this is really where you go to get as close to real-time data as you can. It's a great resource. It's front and center in our air quality page as well. So to the extent that you want to use it or share it with your constituents, I would highly advise it. We and many other agencies throughout the country have been working with EPA and the Forest Service. So we're really thankful that this tool came online right at the right time when we needed it the most. So next slide, please. And this is the last slide. And basically what I just wanted to point out for you is this is a great graphic that we pull. The staff found it from one of the local papers. And this is very consistent with the advisories that we have been given. We've been working in close coordination with Sacramento County Public Health and Dr. Kasiri and her team. We are in regular communication. We're talking several times a week. And what we have said is, yes, the air pollution from the impacts is very significant, very worrisome. But in terms of the relative impact, you can see that the Camp Fire by far was a much bigger impact from an air pollution perspective. What we are seeing right now is obviously very serious and concerning, but I think it's useful to put things in perspective in terms of what we're seeing right now is not nearly as bad as what we had to deal with when the Camp Fire hit us in November 2018. So I'm happy to answer any questions. This concludes the APCO report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ayala. Any members of the board wishing to speak? Do you mind there? Very good. Seeing none, and if I'll go to the folks in the chambers or on the phone. Any members on the phone or in chambers wish to speak? If not, great. No. Thank you very much, Dr. Ayala, for that report. Great resources. I know a lot of folks have been asking about it, and also relative to the Camp Fire, understanding that difference. We'll go ahead and go on to the next item on the agenda, Madam Clerk.
The next item on the agenda is the consent calendar.
Great, thank you. I'll take a motion on the consent calendar.
So moved.
It's been moved by Board Member Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Board Member Harris. Madam Clerk, are there any members of the public who have want to speak, signed up to speak?
Not on this item.
Great, thank you. Any comments from the board? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and do the roll call. Madam Clerk?
Director Aquino,
Aye.
Director Carr,
Aye.
Director Daniels,
Aye.
Director Frost,
Aye.
Director Guerra,
Aye.
Director Hansen,
Aye.
Director Harris,
Aye.
Director Kennedy,
Aye.
Director Lamson,
Aye.
Director Lee, absent. Director Natoli,
Aye.
Director Peters, Director Cerna, Director Terry.
Aye.
This item passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll go ahead and move on to the next item here in our discussion calendar.
The next item, item number 2, Sacramento Region COVID-19 Shelter-in-Place Air Quality Benefits Analysis, and I have Janice Lamb on the line to give the presentation.
Good morning, Janice. I think this is an interesting conversation, given the fact that we get to get some information about maybe something we wouldn't be able to do in a normal situation, but since we're in a pandemic, we can benefit from some information here.
Right. So good morning, Chair Guerra and members of the board. My name is Janice Lamb Snyder. I'm a program manager at the Air District, and I'm going to share some preliminary results from a air quality benefit analysis that we're currently conducting. Next slide, please. So I want to share why understanding air quality impacts of shelter-in-place orders are important for us and important for members of the public. As you all may have seen and heard from newspaper articles, news articles, and potentially prominent studies from academia, that really has indicated that the COVID-19 pandemic has really affected air pollution emissions through the shelter-in-place orders. Early data shows that there's been reduced air pollution around the globe due to reduced traffic emissions and temporarily halting manufacturing activities. So the first study that is really important to highlight is the Harvard study that has shown a link between air pollution exposure and the risk to serious illness or death from COVID-19. So, and this isn't surprising, right? Because considering that air pollution exposure is linked to respiratory health outcomes, and COVID-19 has shown to severely attack the human respiratory system. Another report that we've seen from the UC Davis, from their Road Ecology Center, describes how they were able to calculate greenhouse gas emissions reductions through the vehicle miles traveled from the traffic data. And there's a lot more studies out there right now that are just touching the surface of the environmental impacts of COVID-19. Next slide, please. So I have two graphics here. The first one is the one on your left is an image from the NASA website, taken from space, from one of their satellite detectors that are picking up noticeable improvements in air quality. This image here shows nitrogen dioxide pollution concentrations in China prior to shutting down its transportation going in and out of Wuhan, and then afterwards. This particular image, like I said, is nitrogen dioxide pollution, which is a gas that is emitted through combustion, usually emitted by motor vehicles, power plants, industrial facilities. NASA also has other satellites in there that's been, such as ozone, that has also been making very similar measurements. On the right is a graphic, an image from the UC Davis report that I talked about in the last slide. And they have estimated the greenhouse gas emissions across the nation. And they were able to calculate, sorry, there's some leaf blowers, calculated using emission reductions in VMT. What they have seen is that greenhouse gas were reduced by 4% in total and 13% in transportation. Next slide, please. So there's been international studies, national studies of impacts of shelter in place that's being studied, right? And what we wanted to know here is, what is that impact here regionally here in Sacramento? What are the improvements, if we've seen any here in the region? And we've partnered with Sonoma Technology to complete a study to quantify these air quality improvements from the shelter in place orders to what I call untangle what we typically see as a seasonal trend, and hopefully inform future policy decisions to improve air quality here in the region. So the first task is really to understand, has air quality during the shelter in place period, has it been cleaner than historical periods? That's kind of the first layer of that. And then if we did see a cleaner than historical period, the task 2 is to understand, did weather play a significant role in improving and then the next task after that is developing a model to estimate what air quality would have been absent of the shelter in place. And building upon those 3 tasks, ultimately we want to get to estimating the impact of reduced on-road emissions, on-road traffic, and overall emissions during the shelter in place orders. So ultimately, the goal is to have a scientifically defensible quantification of what the air quality improvements have been in the shelter in place orders. Next slide, please. So this slide shows some preliminary results from task 2 and what it means for 3 pollutants, fine particulates, nitrogen dioxide, and ozone in April. And if we look at years that have similar weather, the monthly average concentrations for all 3 of these pollutants were lower in April of 2020 during the shelter in place. And so that's the good news, is that we have seen improvements. Next slide. So I mentioned we are in the middle of this study, and we have some more work to do. The next step is to develop the model and to estimate what air quality would have been absent the shelter in place orders, and then ultimately get to the impact of on-road traffic emissions on overall emissions during the shelter in place orders. Next slide, please. So what does this all mean, and what are the policy implications for the region? This is about public health and air quality, and like I mentioned, we want to really have a defensible quantification of what the air quality improvements are due to the shelter in place. And when we couple what we're doing with what SACOG is doing in terms of their analysis of vehicles miles traveled, will hopefully be able to support future policy recommendations for teleworking in the greater Sacramento region. So with that concludes my update, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you very much, Janice. Appreciate that. Interesting information there. Do we have any comments from the board members on this study or on this updated information?
Yeah, Chair, I have a comment.
Yes, Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Eric. Janice, the one thing about telecommuting is that it has two sides to the issue. Clearly, if we travel less to get to work, we have air quality benefits, definitely do. And that's great, we can see it in real time. The problem, however, is that it curtails a lot of normal economic activity, like going to your local restaurant for lunch, supporting businesses downtown. I particularly am worried about significant telecommuting on the state side in terms of the foot traffic during lunch and during the early evening has supported restaurants and our thriving economic scene in our downtown core in Sacramento. Absent that, because of telecommuting, an awful lot of restaurants are failing. And these are real tax revenue producers. So it's a two-edged sword, if you will. We get benefits on one side and we get a detriment on the other. And I think rather than just rush wholesale into a telecommuting model, which might ultimately be the best thing, we do have to pay attention to what's happening to our region economically as well. I mean, look, a lot of our economic activities create air pollution. There's no doubt about it, either through travel or, as you said, through manufacturing and so forth. But we can't just stop all of those activities and have people survive. So when you look at the telecommuting and if you made recommendations about it, I'd advise just keep the economic picture in mind as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Harris. Good comments. Well, thank you very much. I know this is just preliminary, and the more information we're gonna get, I think it's going to inform us on the multi-strategy efforts to create that right balance of improving our air quality and striving for the multiple goals, both the economic and equity goals and also the environmental justice and air quality goals. I do believe they're interconnected. So since there are no more questions, Madam Clerk, any members of the public signed up to speak on this?
No, there is not.
This is a receive and file. We'll go ahead and then move on to the next item.
The next item on the discussion calendar, item number 3, innovative mobility in the Sacramento region. And I have Jaime Lemos on the line to give a presentation.
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. Hope everybody could hear me okay. And I do want to apologize. It seems like either there's a leaf blower or a chainsaw in the background of our building here. So that may come through. So I am Jaime Lemos. I'm the division manager for the Transportation and Climate Change Division. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our innovative mobility projects in our region, especially as we're going through COVID, and what we've been doing before COVID and what we'll be doing after COVID. Next slide, please. So as mentioned in last month's board meeting, we have about $70 million in transportation incentives. And we want to put these incentives in our communities. These are our local communities, in your regions, in your represented areas. Each program, of course, comes with its specific guidelines, such as scrap. They come with a specific gross vehicle weight rating, mileage requirements, and the incentives are based on cost effectiveness. Most of these programs really have been designed such as the legacy program like Moyer and our GMER programs, which target large New York partners like SMUD, SACRT, and stakeholders to leverage the fund. We're focusing on local vendors, manufacturers, and dealers. We know they're struggling, so we're doing our best to positively impact local businesses. And in order to continue the will allow small communities, we're starting to see now, access and the community protection incentive funds. These programs have very similar these types of projects lead us into strategic collaborated projects such as mobility hubs, where we can focus on exposure reduction and emission reductions with the right flexibility. Here you have projects, or you have part of projects such as tree canopy, solar PV, microtransit, active transportation, and EV charging. Transportation solutions in transportation deserts. And of course, all of our program funds cannot address all of these needs. So we've been working with our board chair to try to get some of this flexibility. Here is the Green Tech Net Zero Mobility Hub off in Del Paso on the corner of Grand and May, which we've launched a press release a couple weeks ago. This is the Green Tech Mobility Hub in Del Paso. And here it focuses on EV charging. We'll have some Toyota hydrogen Mirais, electric car share, and electric shuttles. And we're also working with the Black Child Legacy Campaign, the Roberts Family Development Center, Mutual Assistance Network, Sierra Health Foundation, and SEDA. And it'll include tree canopies and cool pavers. And of course, we also want to tie in bike share to this. So a lot of options, a lot of strategies, and of course, it's going to take a lot of funding, but we're dedicated to this, and then to this pilot project, and of course, looking at other pilots in the region as well. Next slide, please. And we're not doing all of this alone. I mean, we have all of our regional stakeholders, our partners, our community orgs, our steering committee for AB 617, at the federal level, at the state level, and at the community level. And we're coordinating on all of these efforts. Many of these stakeholders are supporting us in our projects and grant efforts, and we are also supporting them as well. Here you'll see some of the projects right now we're working on, the Sacramento waterfront, I-5 and I-80 efforts. Of course, we're heavily involved in the Mayor's Commission on Climate Change, working with the California Strategic Growth Council, the Energy Commission, and SMUD, and of course, helping deploy the City of Sacramento's EV vehicle blueprint. And then of course, we're all very interested on how we support the California Mobility Center, and want to thank the City of Sac for putting in some funds at our last City Council meeting on that. And so lots of projects, lots of strategies, lots of partners, and lots of support. So I'll stop there and then invite our friends from SAC-RT, Chris Flores. And if clerk, can we go back to slide 4, please?
And thank you, Jaime. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to this board, and that was a great presentation. I'm Chris Flores, Special Assistant to the CEO at Sacramento Regional Transit, and I'm happy here to talk to you about SmartRide. I got my hat on today. So I just want to provide a quick update on our service. I know many of you guys are very familiar with how it operates, but I'll just do a quick overview. SmartRide is similar to other ride-hailing sharing services, where customers can use a smartphone app to request the ride and pick them up and drop them off within the service boundaries. So essentially, it's an on-demand, geo-fenced, app-based or call-in service that goes from curb to curb, operating under defined operating times via the zones that you're in. Really, when we launched, the goals were to kind of provide an innovative, clean, convenient transit service that's connecting to other mobility options, like our light rail and fixed route bus service, and also focus on disadvantaged communities. So we launched in February 2018. We converted what was a dial ride service in Citrus Heights to this on-demand service, and it immediately, we saw tremendous ridership growth in that service, and a lot of people who reached out who said it kind of changed their livelihood, that they could now go at spur of the moment if a friend invited them out. So it was interesting to see how that operated in disadvantaged community, and we were thankful enough as a result of that service to receive a $12 million grant from the Sacramento Transportation Authority to help with the operations of our pilot. And we're now up to 9 zones throughout Sacramento County. We launched an additional 6 zones at the beginning of this year in January. So we're one of the largest in the nation. As I mentioned, we are very focused on disadvantaged communities. Some of our zones touch almost nearly all of the disadvantaged communities within our service area. The Franklin zone, the Rancho Cordova zone, the downtown zone, North Sacramento, Gerber as well. And the other zones that maybe we don't service, it's because they have, they're served heavily by fixed route and light rail, which is obviously a consideration you want to make when drawing these zones. And I should back up and say, when drawing these zones, you have to consider the size of the zone, the key destinations in there, and how many vehicles you're going to deploy, because you don't want people waiting too long, but you don't want a zone small that you can't, too small that you can't get to any destination you truly want to get to. In fact, in terms of ridership, it's been very interesting to see. We had our highest ridership since we launched in July of any month, this last July, and August is expected to surpass that. So clearly with COVID, it's been interesting. We did have some impacts. We saw about a 25% decrease in our ridership from February to about April, but then we've seen a strong demand. It demonstrates the need for essential travel, people getting to grocery stores, getting to medical appointments within their communities. And so while we've seen our fixed route ridership decline as high as 65, 70%, which is not as high as other agencies, our Smart Ride service did not see as steep of a decline. To put in perspective, though, our fixed route service has carried over more than 4 million rides since March, since COVID. So clearly, as Director Harris mentioned, there's a clear need to get people out there and still have that economy and those economic benefits. I do want to talk about electric vehicles. We have 45 vehicles dedicated to this service. 9 of them are electric. We received a grant from the Electrify America to buy 3 vehicles, electric vehicles for the Franklin service. And we have some others that we bought for the currently operating for the downtown service where we can charge. By the nature of the service, we really do have a desire to be fully electric. As you know, studies show Uber and Lyft, their service is, they end up taking more passenger miles or more deadheading miles than passenger miles. And so potentially with Uber and Lyft leaving the region or California, we really think this can fill the gap. The service is always accessible. It's cutaway vehicles that can hold larger group rides if needed. It's always $250 the ride, never surge pricing. We've seen students in Franklin take it for field trips pre-COVID. And so there's some great data we actually just got from VIA, who is our software provider for it, that really demonstrate how great our region has been with Smart Ride. And VIA operates multiple on-demand services, for many transit agencies such as Seattle, Austin, Detroit, Dallas, Salt Lake. And last week they just provided this information to us. It said last week Smart Ride completed 2,784 rides, more than 2.5 times their second largest provider, which is just about 1,000 rides. So in the past 2 weeks, we've seen Smart Ride grow about 4%. In ridership, we're seeing the highest utilization of any of VIA's clients. And we have the lowest of seat unavailable rate, which means that you try to request a ride and it's not available. So it's been very interesting to see that Smart Ride has been utilized at a higher rate since COVID, and it's something we see the convenience of to get to those essential travel trips. And so thank you for the opportunity to share a few words on the service, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flores, for that information. I don't see any questions there, so we'll move on.
I have a question.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Sarah, go ahead.
Sarah Aquino from Folsom. Chris, so with the Smart Ride, are you going curb to curb only within your zone, or can you go from zone to zone?
So there are a couple zones. Mostly you're confined to your zone, but there are a couple zones that overlap. And so there are key destinations where you could request a ride in the adjacent zone where they connect. So like in the North Sacramento zone, you can get to I'm trying to think, you can get to a shopping center that maybe not in that zone specifically, and I'd have to pull up the maps to look. But that's something we're considering as we see the zones. I think we want to know where people are traveling, and so we don't want that artificial boundary that limits if it makes sense to expand the zone or add a destination within 2 adjacent zones.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flores. Other questions from the board for Mr. Flores? If not, we'll go back to Mr. Lemus. Okay.
Great, thank you. And now I'd also like to invite Sabrina Bradbury and Kirk Trost with SACOG.
Good morning, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to give a brief update on bike share. As Jaime mentioned, micromobility is key to helping us achieve our greenhouse gas reduction targets and air quality goals in the region by providing an option that allows people to get out of their cars. We have made great progress toward the goal of providing an equitable, reliable, and clean transportation option with bike share in the region. When we launched in 2018, we were the largest all-electric assist bike share system in North America. And in 2019, we became Jump's #2 market globally in number of total trips. In 2019, we saw nearly 1.3 million trips on bikes alone. That doesn't include all of the scooters that were also out in the region that were very popular. And UC Davis conducted a survey of Jump riders in 2018 and found that 30% of respondents said they were replacing car trips with bike share trips. But all of this success has not been without disruption. As you know, the bike share operations were suspended in March in connection with COVID-19 shelter-in-place orders. And in May, we learned that Lime had acquired the Jump system from Uber. Since that time, and with the gradual reopening of our communities, SACOG and its partners have been negotiating a relaunch of the bike share system with Lime. The Bike Share Policy Steering Committee is meeting tomorrow to consider an action to assign the Jump contract to Lime with some interim amendments through November. This relaunch is happening at a time when there is disruption in the micromobility marketplace. We're seeing consolidation, contraction, and change in the industry. We've moved from a period where there was venture capital backing bike share and companies were going into cities and often paying fees to operate, to where now companies are demanding profitability immediately. So the policy questions that are coming to the region are, do we let the market be what it is and treat micromobility like we treat other businesses, such as car rentals, and issue permits to those businesses to operate in the public right-of-way? Or do we consider other delivery models, such as nonprofit public models or other public-private partnerships that provide more control over the policy objectives like mode shift, equity interests, other mobility goals like connecting to the transit system or serving mobility deserts? The question that is yet to be answered is, to what extent are those costs going to need to be covered by public and or sponsorship revenues? We are not likely going to achieve all of those policy objectives and make money or break even on a bike share system. Should the Policy Steering Committee approve the assignment of the Lime agreement, we will continue discussions with them on what a longer-term agreement might look like, while also analyzing other options for bike share in the region. And while I don't have a specific launch date for you yet, we know that the bike share partners are working to figure out what the best long-term solution is for bike share, so that we can continue to build on the success that we've already seen with micromobility in the region. And with that, I'd be happy, Kirk and I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions from the board members? Any members who are on the phone or online?
Chair.
Yeah,
Jeff,
Board Member Harris. Dr. Harris.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Jaime. You've elevated my status. Sabrina, thank you for that report. You brought up all the really salient points about shared mobility, specifically bikes, which were tremendously embraced by the area, but lost money. So yeah, that delicate balance again between profitability and policy, those are tough questions that we're going to have to look at tomorrow. And I appreciated your analysis. You really dialed it very well. So thank you for that. It's going to be a lively discussion, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Harris. Yes, more information to come, but I think it's this is a clear example where it's a multi-prong approach, not just telecommuting, but also the opportunity to manufacture a lot of these solutions here and provide jobs. So I think there is a co-beneficial way of getting ahead of the curve and making sure that as the state moves in this direction, that we also become the manufacturing center for these mobility solutions. Are there any members wishing to speak? If not, Madam Clerk, are any members of the public signed up to speak?
So this is Jamil Moons. I'm pinch hitting for Selena. She just got bumped off the line. I've just texted her to see if there's any public comment. She did not send me a message saying there was. So okay. I can just ask generally, is there anybody that's on the call right now who would like to speak to this item? And I can see you either raise your hand or physically. I will run down the list here.
So, Mr. Chair, Selena just responded and said that we do have public comments. So,
okay.
We're gonna try to see if we can figure that one out.
Okay.
So any member of the public that is wishing to address the board, you can unmute yourself now.
I'm going to ask her if she has a name real quick for us.
Well, this is definitely a 2020 moment today.
Okay, we do have, it's a write-in and I will read it for the record. So it's a public comment on agenda item number 3, innovative mobility in the region. It says the Niello Company is proud to partner with the Sacramento Air District by participating in the Clean Cars for All program. By offering an array of new and pre-owned electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles throughout our Sacramento area dealerships, we are able to play a significant role in meeting California's goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and put 5 million zero-emission vehicles on the road by 2030. Signed, Rick Niello, President, the Niello Company. And let me see if there's another one here that it looks like maybe that is the only one.
If I may, Mr. Chair, to the board, the Clean Cars program is implemented through local auto dealerships. And the Niello Company is one of the participants, and that is the reason for the comment.
Yes, thank you. And that's another example of how we're looking at ensuring that we're supporting our local businesses as we move through these air quality programs.
It doesn't appear there are any other public comments.
Great, thank you very much. This is a receive and file. Thank you everyone for the presentation, for the public comments, and for the questions. This concludes our, are there any public comments from the public on items not on the agenda?
No, there are not.
Are there any board member comments or ideas or AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reports? Seeing none, then we're going to go ahead and thank you, everyone. Thank you, all our staff here. Please stay healthy. We're going to adjourn this session and go into closed session. Board members, all of you have a meeting invitation for the closed session. And so go ahead and log out now, and we'll see you guys on the other side. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you shortly. Yeah, we're back in here on 8/27/2020 at 10:16 a.m. Kathy, Council, do we have anything to report out from closed session?
The board authorized me to offer settlements to both of the actions listed on the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy. Madam Clerk, any other business before the board?
No.
Okay, thanks. Well, thank you, everybody. Everybody stay healthy. Keep an eye on the air quality index there. And we're adjourned at 10:16 a.m.
Thank you.
Thanks.